Welcome back to Map the Maze. This week we're starting Stress Free for Good by Luskin and Pelletier, which I talked about on the last video. But this week we're focusing on the very first life skill that they share, which is breathing from the belly. The reason that breathing from the belly is important is that, as you've probably experienced, when you are under stress, anxious, feeling under attack, you start to breathe from your upper chest. It's quite shallow, it's quick. The reason for that is that when we feel unsafe, when we feel like we might be under attack, the body starts preparing for fight or flight. And if we breathe quickly and shallowly, then we're getting as much oxygen as quickly as possible into our body. The challenge is that breathing in itself tells our body we are not safe. So one of the reasons why breathing from the belly is really helpful is it's this message to our parasympathetic nervous system that we are okay, that we are safe. It's a signal that we send ourselves. The other reason is that breathing helps to calm our other processes. So, for example, when we feel under attack, our blood rate, our cortisol levels increase, our adrenaline increases because we're preparing for what could be a significant physical outlay of energy and resources. But in most situations, when we're in mediation, you're not about to have a physical outlay of energy. You're actually trying to focus on emotional regulation. You're trying to stay engaged with what's happening in a constructive way. And the diversion of resources from clear, slow, deep breathing to this shallow breathing, to the increased heart rate, the increased blood pressure, will distract you and also start shutting down some of the prefrontal cortex that you will need for problem solving. So breathing, important. And also it's one of those few things that you could easily do without anybody noticing. So I was doing a training recently and somebody said, but if I'm starting to get triggered, if I notice that this is not going well, what can I do? How can I calm myself, find ways to regulate myself in the room? This is one of those ways. I would say, just from a personal perspective, be careful because you can overbreathe. And I've certainly seen people in mediation who were breathing so much. Typically, it's faster breathing, though, but were breathing so much that they actually started going into hyperventilation. This is not that. This is, if you can, and if you can't put your hands on yourself, but if you can, putting your hands on your stomach, on your belly. And what we typically do, and what you might experience, is that when you breathe, we don't expand into our diaphragm, into our belly. We actually just stay breathing up here. For this, you need to be breathing down in your belly. So what you should feel with your hands on your belly is that it expands like a balloon. So on the inhale, you're taking air all the way down into your diaphragm. On the exhale, it should become slower, as if the air is coming out of the balloon. So the idea is to target that consciousness of putting air into the balloon and pushing air out of the balloon, but doing it in a slow and rhythmic way. They recommend doing this for 5 to 10 minutes every day. I have to say, I think it's personal. So for me, that much breathing at that intensity would actually signal to me that something is wrong. For other people, though, it is incredibly powerful. So what I would say is, like everything, it's a spectrum. Find what works for you. But for some people, a couple of minutes of that, or maybe 10 breaths, where you're really focused on taking in the air, taking it deep into your diaphragm, and then pushing it out, will be enough. But it's a very helpful tool. So not anything that I have ever come across is a magic wand. But in combination, having all of these in your daily practice can really help. So first skill, sounds crazy, breathing. So have a go, try it this week. See if you could maybe put aside a couple of minutes to just do that deep, focused, rhythmic breathing. And then track, how do I feel after this? Is this something that actually, if I am in a joint session of mediation, or even maybe I'm starting to get anxious as I prepare to go into the mediation, or prepare material for the information, or start thinking about what's going to happen in the mediation, maybe deploy this breathing technique so that you can actually essentially tell your body you're not under attack, that you might be thinking about a situation that's difficult or challenging, but that you are not actually facing an attack right now. Hopefully, that gives you a little bit of calm to enable you to engage with the problem solving, the higher level functioning that you're going to need to be able to address whatever it is you're facing. Okay, next week I'll be back with, let me check what number 2 is. Ooh, appreciating beauty. So that's a good one to look forward to. And I'll see you next week. Take care.